Okay guys, this is a follow-up from my Valk Vista e-bike, which arrived yesterday in a box, and as you see I have assembled it. I didn't actually think I was going to get it done, but I had a break for a while and had another go and ended up finishing it. I've ridden it around in the backyard, and last night I ended up taking it for a night ride. I wasn't going to, I'm not really into riding bikes at night time, but I was eager to try it out actually on a hard surface, and I'm very happy with it. And it's the Valk Vista, described as a lady's bike, which I don't care because I like the look of it. That's why I got it. And in fact, a lot of e-bikes, they refer to them as step-through, don't they? And that suits me at my age. I've actually got two pedal bikes that one cost me $15 and the other one $20, and one's like a lady's bike. It's actually got a sticker on it that says made with women in mind, and that's the one I ride the most. It's actually the better bike, the one that cost $15, and I've been riding it for over 4 years. The only thing I've done is put a couple of tyres on it when they went bald, and a few times fixed punches because I didn't get around to changing the tyre quick enough. And for a long time I'd been thinking about getting an e-bike, and I was considering getting a conversion kit, a front wheel one, because I thought that'd be easier. Then I started looking at the price online of like a bike in a box. I ended up going that way. It wasn't that much more really, and I've got something that's completely brand new. The company that sells them, they sell a lot of stuff, not just bikes, and you can either go to their website and buy it through there, but they've got all their bikes on eBay, and that's where the only place where I've ever really bought stuff, and so I felt comfortable through there, and that's where I got it. And it took about 10 days. It's come right across the country. I live in Albany, Western Australia, and it came from Sydney, and I think from the time they sort of picked it up, I got it here in 10 days, and I sort of knew it was coming yesterday. It was a bit hard for me to understand the tracking that I was getting. Wasn't really in layman's terms as to where the bike was. I didn't even know if it had actually left for sure, the way it sort of read. But I came to the conclusion yesterday, indeed, I was actually watching other people's. I was actually able to, deliveries that had left Sydney for Western Australia around the same time, it was like it was a batch of deliveries. I was actually able to sort of put the number in and watch them too. And I saw one had actually got delivered yesterday before me, so I knew it was on its way. Anyway, they make quite a few bikes, but they use similar parts. It's a 250 watt hub motor, which 250 watt is the legal maximum in Australia, and the batteries, they have two powered batteries. The one I've got is 8.8, and the next one up is a 10. And it's either, they make two that had the 8.8, this one, and what they call the Valk Vista, which is just a single gear, and that's their cheapest bike, and that uses the 8.8 too. All the others have 10, which isn't that much more really. And both the Pixie and this one have a more simple sort of control, and it's not an LED sort of, or liquid crystal sort of display, not LED, liquid crystal display. It's very basic, but it does the job sort of thing. I'll move in and show a bit more about it. This is the control here. If I hold that down, this battery is now fully charged. If I hold this down, that center one there, which says M, it'll come up by default in, there's your different levels. I can't read it without my reading glass here, but that's basically the first, it's going to give you the least amount of assistance, so 1, 2, 3 say, and then you hit the plus and you can move along, maximum assistance there, and go back the other way with the minus key and that. And if you want to use, it actually has a throttle, this bike. Now I'll just step back for a minute and talk about that. If I was to go down to a bike shop where they sell e-bikes, it's probably not going to have a throttle. I'm not even sure what the legality is in Australia. I think in America, from what I've seen in videos, most of the bikes would probably have throttle. But here, if I was to go down the bike shop, it'd be pedal assist. In fact, when I knew very little about it, I said, is it pedal assist? I was asking about a bike. And he said, oh, they all are. They have to be. Otherwise, it becomes something else, he said, like a motorbike. But I still don't really know, because I know there's a company, well, this one here is selling them with the throttle. They don't seem to promote it too much, though. And in fact, some of them, when you read about the bike, this one here actually, I think, mentions in the manual that you've got the throttle, but some of them, they don't even sort of mention it. And they don't really go into detail on how you get that to work. I actually read from reading a review about it, how the throttle works before I got it, sort of thing. And anyway, I know there's a company in Fremantle, which is about 400 kilometres away from where I live, called Solar Bikes. He specialises in conversion kits. He sells complete bikes, like electric bikes and bikes that he'll sell, and people can come in there and just buy the conversion kit and they'll put it on their bike. I'm going to call. Or they can come in and choose a bike, choose what conversion kit they want, and he'll put it on for them. And he actually, his kits, they're throttle. He said he doesn't like pedal assist. It's a very simple kit he's got. He basically just, let's say it's the front wheel. You've got a connection going to the controller, connection going to the battery, and a connection going to the throttle. And that's it. I think I can understand what he meant. I think he said he felt it was safer, and I think I know what he means. When you're in pedal assist, it can really just push you forward, and you don't really have full control on how much acceleration you're going to have. When I was riding this around the backyard yesterday, testing it out, backyard's only fairly small, so it's just on the grass out there. So it's my first ride. I'm not used to the bike. I felt like it was going to push me into a tree there. It was quite powerful just in the number 1. But when I worked out how the throttle worked, that took me a while, I was then able to just accelerate the amount that I wanted, and so I felt far more sort of safer, in control. So I think I'm going to end up preferring the throttle more. As I say, this guy up in Fremantle, he sells them with throttle. So I really don't know what the legality is. And he's been in business for a long time. I'm going to cough again. Okay. So that's the 3 different levels of pedal assist. 1, 2, 3. And in fact, and go back that way. I read in some reviews where heaps of people that had bought the bike were just sort of making a comment on it. Everyone was positive. One woman said, it's too powerful, more or less. It was too powerful in the lowest one. And I can see what she meant. It really gives you a kick. And if you were someone maybe elderly, you could feel like you were going to be sort of pushed into something. Once you get going, you're right, sort of thing. But that's where the throttle, I just feel, is a nicer thing. And so it's got plenty of power. And to do the throttle, I remember reading, it said you just switch out all the lights. These ones. This is your battery indicator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's at pretty like full power. And that's still going to, even when it's down a bit, it's still going to stay on number 5 for a while. But when it's down to about 3, or it's getting close to half. And I hold that one there, push that. Now they've gone out. That is now throttle. But you will see nothing. Now, I may be saying something that everyone sort of knows, or people about this may be common with e-bikes. They don't know that the throttle doesn't work. But I've seen bikes, or certainly conversion kits, where people could just lift the back wheel up to demonstrate it and turn the throttle, or be it one of those push ones. So 2 reasons came to mind why that would, what you've actually got to do to get it work. You need to be, if I get outside and I start pedalling, immediately I can then use the throttle, and I don't have to keep pedaling. I can keep, I've then got throttle. The only time it would not be working if I stop for a bit, and then I suppose I wouldn't have throttle. I'd need to start pedaling, and it kicks in straight away. It's not like you've got to be pedaling a heap and then you can use the throttle. Just get going, and I imagine it must be the control by the back wheel there somewhere, not the pedals, that's determining it, because I can stop pedaling and just around and around in circles I was going last night. Not last night, in the late afternoon when I first ride on it, just out in the backyard, and I was doing it just with throttle, and then switching back to pedal assist and trying that out again. And I just felt so much safer actually with the throttle. With the pedal assist, even just in the number 1, I felt like first like I was going to get pushed into a tree out there, as it really gave me a kick. And then so I'd brake a little bit, and then the motor would go, and then I'd start pedaling again, and the pedal assist would kick in and it'd give me another shove. Where with this, I can just sort of gently do it as I want it, sort of thing. So you start pedaling, you've got your throttle, and then you can pedal if you want. You don't have to, sort of thing. That's how it works. But 2 reasons came to mind. I thought, oh, I wonder if it's because that way it doesn't put undue stress on the motor down there. Because of course with pedal assist you've got to pedal first. But I think the main reason, it may be the reason, would be a safety thing. Imagine you had left it like this and the throttle would work. A child could come up and just turn it, member of the family, could come up and turn it, and bang, you've accidentally left it, you've forgotten about it, and into them or into someone else. I could see how it could be a real safety thing. So this way, you've actually got to get on there and be riding it before you can actually have it. So that to me would be a logical thing, safety-wise. I don't think I'd want it, now that I think of it, to go without me being on there and starting to pedal. That's basically it with the control. Oh, no. Once you're with it on, I have a light. I actually read, I don't know whether it even tells you in the manual, but I read, it might do, but I read where you hold the M button down, which is the centre one, for 3 seconds and your light will come on. It didn't work. Then I tried holding the plus and the light comes on. And I don't think it's even 3 seconds. There it is. And the same to get it off. It doesn't come with the tail light on linked up, but it comes with a little battery operated tail light with a bit of Velcro. You can choose, and like a belt type, clip type thing, not for your belt obviously, but you can. I tried clipping it onto there with the thing. I put the bit of Velcro around that. Actually, probably seemed the best way, but you can just put it on there when you want. It comes with a battery in it. You just push the button. You push the button again, it'll flash. If you wanted a flashing light, sync wide. I'm not planning to do any nighttime riding. I did last night because I was so eager to try it out. I thought, okay, I've got the light. I didn't worry about the tail light on, and I went for a bit of a ride, and it worked well. I spent most of the time on throttle in the end, but I was switching backwards and forwards, wanting to try it all out. Light was very bright. That was good. So that's it, and nothing else really to know about that. You now hold that centre one down and it goes out. Actually, I think there must be, I think I read something about one time, not this bike, about a push mode where if you're pushing your bike along to give it a bit of assistance. This must have this, because with this on, I'm not going to do it because it will take off along there. It happened to me when I was first playing around with it in here. I actually assembled this. I pulled it out of the box. I had a sheet laid down over there. I was thinking, okay, it's probably not going to be a greasy thing anyway, but I wouldn't mind just having something to protect the car. And I've got these old sheets that used to be for when I had my dog, and I used to go running, and I'd put the sheet over the passenger seat of the car where he jumped in, so he's, and then I could just wash the sheet when I wanted to, rather than have mud on the seats and that. And plus it was bedding. That's over there, where an area there where he used to sleep when I had him, and I used to lay a sheet down there. That was his inside sleeping area. He was an inside dog at night, outside dog during the day, and he had a kennel outside and heaps of shade out there under the veranda, trees, everything. He died just over 4 years ago, and I used to go. I don't have a car at the moment. We used to go running, and I used to go somewhere in the car, and sometimes I'd head off on foot and go for a run. And anyway, I've now lost my train of thought, what I was saying. Oh yeah, so I had a sheet down to do it on there, but I ended up just assembling it on the box there. I've come to the conclusion there's pretty much 4 things. I had it all worked out before this bike arrived, and was confident that I'd be able to put it together without even sort of looking at anything. I'd watched the videos. I actually saw a video of this very bike being assembled in what they make them in white and red, this one. And but that wasn't very. It was good for an overview sort of thing, but he only ever spoke at the beginning, saying now we're going to be assembling the Valk Vista ladies bike, and it was just a side-on camera view, and he pulls it out of the box. It's sped up to show while he's doing the mundane stuff of taking the protection off, and there was no explanation, I'll be careful with this or do this and that. It was just a side-on view of it all being assembled. So it showed you the process, but not really little details. There was another video I saw online of a Valk, a different bike, but a Valk one that I could have bought if I wanted to, just similar sort of price, but more with shockies and that, and more for if you wanted to go off-road as well, sort of thing you could have done. He was a jack of all trades sort of bloke, and he put that together and seemed to know a lot about bikes in general. Although if you look at all his other videos, he's only got 2 on the bike. It was 2-part, putting the bike together. And he was going to follow up with showing you how the control worked, but I noticed he never ever did it. And on their other bikes, it's this Vista, the ladies' bike, and what they call the lowest price one, the Fixie, a single gear bike with that battery. It's got this controller and single speed. It's more like a road bike though. It's got thin tyres. It actually would be probably a pretty good bike, and it's their cheapest one. That comes with this little display control thing too. But their other ones all have the what you would normally see, most times you would see on a bike, where you've got far more sort of like a display, and you can press all different buttons and you get the speed and how many kilometres you've done. I don't really want all that. I don't need to know how fast I'm going. I don't care how far I've been. And this is really all I want. So I'm happy with that. In Australia, pedal assist, the 25 kilometres, I think it is, yeah, is your maximum. So your pedal assist will cut out once you reach there. I won't even know when I've reached there, but I'm not going to probably reach there because I tend to get around fairly slow. I'm in no rush, sort of. At my age, I don't want to be going too fast. I'm going down a bit of hill, I brake and just go slow. So I'm not probably even going to get up to that speed. But pedal assist will cut out 25 kilometres and apparently re-engage once you're back down to that again. And I did read somewhere where the throttle was set, not done about whether it was this bike, but the throttle would only give you a maximum, if you're on throttle only or pedalling as well, of 20 kilometres, and then that wouldn't power you anymore. But I don't know. Anyway, that's it, and I think it's a pretty good bike. Time will tell. And I'll just say this. I came to the conclusion for anyone wanting to put one of these, any sort of e-bike together, they all seem to come pretty much the same. I came to the conclusion, first of all, the reason they're not fully assembled is not because they're trying to save money. They're 95 or 90% put together. The reason they do it like that is so they can fit them in a smaller box, and that saves on cost of transport. And of course that means they can sell the bike cheaper. And I watched a video where someone more or less confirmed that was the reason. You imagine if you were fitting this bike there, you've got the width of the handlebars that are going to, so it's going to have to be that wide, and it's going to have to be longer because this front wheel is not on, and it's more or less sort of tucked over here with the and everything sort of taped up, and well, there's all the packaging stuff there. Oh, some of it's in another bin. I'm getting rid of all this soon. And it's an absolute, well, it's a mess for me in here. But now what was I going to say? Oh, there's more or less three things. Your handlebars, your seat, your front wheel, and pedals. And when I say pedals, this here, they're already on. And the other stuff, this was, for me, the auxiliary stuff was the light, the mud flap. And this was already on, that mud flap. No, I didn't have to do anything with that. This was on except for those there. I just had to move that forward, move that forward and put that in. This had to be put on, both down there, secured, and there, and the light goes there. That was a bit tricky for me. If you had someone else, it would have been easier. Tricky as in, you know, feeding that through while without everything dropping away, because I had to have that and that. And everything there is completely done. Yeah, so when you see people assembling usually, and I'd watched them, they'll pop their handlebars in first. You could do it the other way around if you wanted to. Some people don't tighten everything up straight away. They just do that and that roughly, and then maybe flip it over. Some people flip it over. I made the decision I was going to turn it over. I've seen people just lift the bike up and pop the front wheel in. People that are, I suppose, that have got experience in that. I wanted to have it turned over so I could hold that wheel with both hands and make sure everything sort of was right and that. And while I had it upside down, I then put these pedals in. They're marked left and right. I saw a video where someone said the easiest way to remember which way, because they warn you that you've got to screw them the right way, you could cross-thread something. They always screw the way like that towards the front of the bike, the way you would pedal. So that's basically anti-clockwise, where the other one will be, if you're around that side, will be clockwise, once again, pushing towards the bike. Another way you could think is the way you normally screw something in, it's only the left that is opposite. The right one, you turn it clockwise. This one, you're turning it anti-clockwise, but always towards the front of the bike. And that's if you've got it this way up. I had it upside down, but it was easy enough to work out. And then you tighten that up there once you've screwed it in, and with a shifter or spanner, and that's really it. Those four main things, and then the extra things, like I said, this I had to do, that, and this. And I had that on charge while I was doing it. They recommended that while you're assembling the bike, you put it on charge, and they usually come about half charged or something. And I tried it out very early in the piece before I even had it ready to go, and all the lights come on. And I eventually fully charged it. It didn't take that long before the red light went to green. And so anyone thinking about a bike, a Valk bike, I think they're pretty good. They seem to be well made. I saw a video of one of their other bikes where the one where I got more help from, and it was a Valk bike, And he was saying, oh, I like what I see, as he was going along putting it together. But as he did, the mud flaps are a bit different on that one. That's something that sits up high, and he was saying how were quite flimsy, the mud flaps, compared to the rest of the build of the bike. But this isn't. These are solid on this one. So there it is. A good bike. The Valk Vista, that one. And I'll leave it at that.